Hi, Christina Michelle. This is going to be your training video on how to edit and manage your new WordPress website. Congratulations. I hope you're going to love having it and giving it out, and it'll help you attract many new clients. So here we go. We are going to go into your WordPress admin interface, and then I'm going to walk you through all the important menu items that you should know about, and also the ones that you should not touch, because I won't want to touch them either. They're full of original codes that we don't want to disturb. But anyways, the goal for this training video is if you choose to manage your website on your own, then you can keep it healthy and functioning at all times. So your website's WordPress link is https://codivorces.com/wp-admin. And when you click on it, you should see your login window, which is different for you. I'm not gonna share what the login is here because you should have that saved separately. And this is my login, but of course I'm not gonna reveal the password either for safety. Once you're inside your website, you're gonna see a dashboard with all the menu items on the left, and in the middle usually you see anything important popping up. So if whatever's popping up has like a orange, yellow is probably something important to take care of. Blues and greens are not so important, they're useful info. But I'm going to read what it says right here. So right now, to make your site as secure as possible, take a moment to optimize WordPress, which is what we're going to do together still. Your site is not connected with Broken Link Checker. Connect now. I also will need Christina for this, so we're gonna do these two together. And then these are not so important, so I'm gonna X out of some of these to get rid of that. Okay. It does say with an exclamation mark that the PHP update is required. I am going to do this. I think every time PHP wants to be updated, please talk to me, okay? Because those can break your website. And right now there is a new version of PHP that I don't recommend because it's not, it has kinks, so it has brought down a website that I updated to. So we literally had to go back to a previous version. So don't do the PHP updates. The other update you shouldn't do alone is your theme update, the WordPress theme, and we'll talk about it more, okay? But everything else here looks good. I just wanted to quickly look at WordPress. Yeah, we have to set this up still, so it's not active, but you would see interesting things there if you had people trying to break in. All right, so you can visit your website by going through the top left Colorado Divorces with the little house symbol. So if you hover over it, you can visit the site and always can check to see what your updates have done. You can maneuver along your pages. This is how website visitors from the outside would experience your website. And to go back to your dashboard, you go back to the top left where it says Colorado Divorces and choose Dashboard. All right. So we started on Home. Home looked like this. If there were important updates, there would be a little sign next to the Updates menu item. And most of those updates would be either the PHP we just talked about, a WordPress theme, which we will talk about, or the plugin updates. And those are also showing up here further below under plugins. So that's the one thing that is a monthly maintenance requirement on a WordPress website. The plugins always need to be updated because they pose the most vulnerability and hackers can get to your site through them. So Insights is not super important. Marketing education isn't also. Post would be more interesting because Christina expressed that she might want to start blogging. So posts are your blogs. And right now we don't have a blog page set up, but it's easy to set it up. And if you'd like to add the post, you literally click on add post and it's gonna work a lot like a Word document. Basically, you need to give it a title and then you start writing your paragraphs, right? If you have too many paragraphs, then you should have subtitles and of course a picture that matches them, and make sure the picture you have copyright for. There are lots of free stock images on the web, or you can purchase one on your own. One thing about blogs, and we can talk more about blogs, on the right side there is this column which says post and blog. And so I recommend you set a featured image for each blog because that's how it's going to show up as you share it through emails or social media or anywhere, even in emails. So you just pick a picture. This one's in your library, or you can upload one, and then you set it as a featured image. Okay. You also should set up a few more things. Sorry, I want to get rid of it. Okay, and one of it is categories. You should have categories, and right now you already have child support and family law, but you can always add the new categories. So always check mark one or multiple categories for each blog and add tags. And you can just add tags as much as, you know, I don't know, child support. Oh, it's not writing, but why? Okay. Apparently, it's not gonna do it for me right now, but it should. Anyway, you probably have to believe me because my mouse is not clicking there at the moment. But separate them with commas or enter keys. And that's pretty much that. And also at the bottom, you should write a little meta description, which is like the summary of your blog, and set up focus keywords, okay? And it's gonna give you a little analysis telling you how good your content is. And also on the top right, that 64 out of 100, it'll show you how well your blog is set up for SEO. You should try for 90% or higher. And then it'll turn into green. I'm not going to publish this blog, but this is how you publish it, or you can save it as a draft. Okay, maybe you want to work more on it, or make it live at a different later date. Okay, you can view the preview in the bottom left, what it looks like. And right now this sample blog looks like this. But I literally just created a draft, so it's not active. Let's go back to the dashboard on the top left. And now you know what post is, and let's go look in what media is. Media is basically where the library is located with all your pictures. So you can find all the pictures on your website, and they are optimized for SEO, optimized for size, so the download speed is fast. Let's look at one of them. This is Asset Division at Divorces at Searcy Friedman Law, Colorado. Okay, make sure you fill out all the alternative text and not only the title but caption description. I usually copy the alternative text caption description, and I set these up for SEO for your business name, SEO for location. So it's Colorado. We don't want too many people from out of state unless you guys want to work with out of state. And there is no save button here, but it shows on top that it's saved. And if you want to delete a picture, you can delete it permanently, but make sure you understand that wherever it's showing on a page, it's not going to just disappear and show an error. You want to replace it with another image. So again, new pictures, add media file, and then whatever you prepped on your computer, you just select it from your computer. Make sure it's the right size. Make sure it's optimized for speed, okay? After the library, you do have two sliders, which are slideshows, but right now we don't have any on your pages. Let me just check. Yes. But the home slider could be set up to become a slideshow on your home page. And they could also be testimonials or other places along the pages. So we just don't use this feature, but it's already on your website. Next is your pages. And of course, that's very, very important because that's where all your website pages are. It looks like this. So if you, let's say you want to modify something on the divorce page, please go to Edit with WordPress Bakery Page Builder because that's the editor we used. So do not use Edit and Quick Edit. Only use this editing feature because this is how, like I said, this is how your pages were created. So if you would use the other editors, most likely your page would break down. You would see very interesting features not correct. So this will all get ruined. So be careful to use this editor, okay? Let's say you want to say something as when divorce happens, that's a custom heading, and below it is a text block, which you can edit with the pencil. So divorce is a great leveler and a difficult time for everyone involved. Let's say we wanted to change that. So we would save the changes here, and we would also update the whole entire page. Okay, so it's double saving within the element and also on the page. I'm not gonna make this change, so I'm just gonna exit out. Your pictures are actually backgrounds inside that column, so you would have to like go inside the row, inside the column, and they're set up in the background. Okay, the reason that it is set up that way is because we could get the most area of the column, but of course it could be a picture element, simple picture element, but this way it actually is like better visual representation. So they're not hiding too much, but this is where they are, okay? And of course, we have all kinds of settings here for each picture for the columns, okay? Buttons are just buttons. You click on them, you can change the text on them. It's up here. The size, I wouldn't start changing sizes on buttons at all because they're all unified, set up for the right size, right look, right styling, right everything. Links can change, of course, so that's where your links are for the buttons. And again, save if you want to save changes and update. Okay. So all of these areas pretty self-explanatory, except maybe where there's white text. You will see that you don't see anything in the text box, but truly the text is there. You'll see it in the code. This is the text in here, but it's styled to a white font. That's why in the visual representation you don't see it, but if I highlight it with my mouse, it's there, okay? It's just not easy to edit it through the visual version, only through the code, okay? All right, slideshows are a little bit different. They're called a testimonial slider, and wherever the dot is standing, that's the slide testimonial that you can edit by clicking on the testimonial editing button, okay? This is where the verbiage is, that's where the name is, subtitle, that's that, okay? And then we do have contact forms, which are inserted in a text box, but this isn't where the contact fields are set up. They come from a contact form 7 plugin, which I will show you where it is, okay? Okay, I'm gonna exit this page without saving anything, and I'm gonna go back to the dashboard. Okay, went to pages, comments. You should not have very many comments, but if you do, these will be waiting for you to approve. So if there's anything here, you can like check mark it, and then decide that you want to approve it or trash it or anything. And then OptiMonster is going to be something we need to connect to your Google account, which is not ready yet. I just checked. This is where the contact forms are, under contact. So this shortcode here is what you saw in the text box on the divorce page. Okay, so you only have one contact form. All of them are going to your emails. And this is where it is. And if you want to look at it, it looks like this. I will look at this in a second. Yeah, so this is your contact form settings. Salient is the name of the WordPress theme that we built your website on. I use it several times. Actually, my website is on Salient as well. So in here are all your universal settings, everything from your brand colors, the layout of the pages, what fonts are set up for each level, like paragraph, heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your header navigation, what it looks like, what your footer looks like, everything is set up here. So I show you one area, here's the fonts, and inside fonts, here is your navigation font, size, page headings. So there are a lot of settings in here. Okay, so I wouldn't touch this part, but all the universal settings are under Salient, okay? Global sections doesn't really have anything, we didn't use it. Appearance is important because that's where your menu is set up. So your menu structure looks like this right now. These are the pages that you have, 2 subpages, and on the left, these are all your pages. So if you create a new page, it would show up here, and then we can add it to the menu. Okay, and of course, we would have to save it. So that's one important place in appearance. The other would be the customize area. I'll show you what that is. Customize is where the active theme is showing up. Your site and identity is set up. The site title is Colorado Divorces, the tagline, and the logo that shows up in an itty bitty version up here in the bar, in the address bar. So this is where that's set up. The menu you can also see here. Widgets, footer area. Footer has 4 different widgets. Homepage setting, the homepage is set for the one that's called home. So all these basics are in here in the customize section, okay? If you change taglines, logos, of course, this is where we would set it up. But nothing's important here in appearance, maybe the widgets, this is where your footer area 1, 2, 3. This is where the footer information is in, for example, okay? All right, plugins, we talked about plugins. That's what somebody has to look at every month. It has to be updated, and right now, nothing needs to be updated. Everybody's up to date and to the latest update, which is great. That's what a healthy website should be like. Behind plugins, there would be a number here, 1, 2, 5, if there were any plugins to up to date. And then, so for example, if Akismet needs an update, then underneath setting and deactivate, there would be a line showing up saying, there is a new version of Akismet available, update now. And you just click on update now. And it usually goes through in a few seconds. The only thing, if there are like 5 plugins to update, which can easily happen in a month, you shouldn't click on update all at once, because if any of these plugins cause a little bit of trouble, for example, your website can break or some parts stop working, then we wouldn't know which one of the 5 caused the problem. So that's why it's smart to do the updates one by one. I usually write it on a paper. Akismet, it said update is successful, then I check mark it. Duplicate page, okay, update successful, check mark. Because what would happen if it broke your page, then then we would deactivate that plugin. Most likely everything would work normally after, but sometimes it doesn't. And so it's very useful to know which plugin caused an update, because your hosting company would be the one who would be able to help you with that, okay? Sometimes if it breaks your website, you would also get email notifications from your WordPress site saying this and this plugin caused a problem, and here is a safe mode link that you can reactivate your website with, okay? All right, that's enough about plugins. Hopefully nothing will ruin anything. Users, right now, we have an admin connected to the info@coloradodeforces.com website. We have a Christina and Michelle connected to Christina's email, and there is me. So all three of these are administrators. I will ask Christina, I think we talked about it, and I can delete this one. I'm gonna double check again. To me, it's the less people are administrators, the safer a website is, but of course it's useful to have more than one, too, so one person can fix something if the other person somehow doesn't have access anymore, or can't remember, or we can't find information, okay? If you ever want somebody to block for you or do other site updates, maybe an editor role would be the next, not administrator, but a second powerful role, that still this person would not be able to do anything malicious to your website. They wouldn't be able to take control over or anything like that. Okay, so this is how we add users, and we can change passwords and all that. If we go into edit, if someone needs a password reset, then an administrator can say set new password or send reset link, okay? All right, tools are not something we're gonna look at, but the one important thing here is site health, which is the same site health as the first screen when you open. So it would show us, okay, we have 4 critical issues. Outdated version of PHP, we talked about this. Your site doesn't appear in search results. We need to actually connect it to Google, enable Google Analytics for the same thing. We need to connect it to Google, and I logged and I know that your Google business account is not active yet. It hasn't been approved. So we have to do this as soon as Google is active. Please configure your Google Analytics, same thing. So 3 recommended plugin issues. You should remove inactive plugins. Schedule event is connect your site with Google search. Yeah, so everything that has to do with Google here, we need to still do. Okay, so nothing in tools is important here. Please don't touch it, but you can look at site health, of course. WordPress Bakery Page Builder, this is your editor, and that's the general settings. Actually, don't touch this, but this is where all the settings are for the editor of the website. These settings we're not touching. Definitely not touching, because this is where there are a lot of codes that we don't want to ruin. All-in-one SEO reviews, that's what rates you on your pages and on your blogs. And on the pages, I set it up so it's really nice to start with. So we have foundational SEO set up, and it's really strong. But once you start blogging, this is the tool that would help you get better at blogging. Okay. Broken links is not set up. That was one of our messages. If anything that we're linking to within the website or outside the website, it changes, then it would show here, and we would have to figure out if we take it off or change the link or what happens. And then insights, monster insights. Like I said, we need to connect to Google. And this is all that. Coming soon is a plugin that we used when we created the website. WordFence is what's going to protect you from malicious attacks. We also need to activate that. And that's it. You know everything in your menu now. And just as a summary, one more time, you should always look at the openings homepage of the dashboard if there is any important messages there. If you want to update anything on your pages, you can do it through here. And really what's most important is having all the plugins up to date at every time. So that's a monthly activity, okay? That's it. All right, hopefully it wasn't too scary and it was manageable. And if you guys need to refer it, then this video will be helpful. Every time you're done with your session, you can go to the top right and log out. Under the mini menu of the howdy, it's gonna be Christina and Michelle. Okay, log out, make sure you don't stay logged in, and that's it. I hope it was a useful video.